I never thought a parking spot could push me to the edge until a spoiled kid and his overbearing mother decided my home wasn't really mine. Every morning, without fail, I'd step outside, coffee in hand, ready for work, only to see that sleek, silver Porsche parked squarely in my numbered spot. My spot. At first, I thought it was an accident. Maybe someone new didn't know the rules. But when I left a polite note, it vanished the next morning, replaced by a mocking scribble in red ink, "Find another spot, old man." That was the day I realized I wasn't dealing with a misunderstanding. I was dealing with a Karen. I'd only lived in the neighborhood 6 months. After 20 years serving in the military and retiring, I'd used my savings to finally buy a quiet condo in a decent community. Peace, that was all I wanted. But peace isn't something you get when your next door neighbor is the president of the HOA and believes she owns every square inch of the place. Her name was Sharon, though everyone called her Karen behind her back, and she had a way of making everyone's life miserable. She loved rules, but only when they worked in her favor. Her son, Jake, was a 22-year-old college dropout with more attitude than sense and apparently, no regard for anyone's property. Every morning, Jake would roll in, rev that engine like he was announcing royalty, and park in my assigned spot. Every time I knocked on their door, Sharon's voice would slice through the air like a blade. "John, calm down. He's just visiting. It's temporary." Temporary, it'd been 3 weeks. And every polite conversation, every letter, every HOA complaint went straight into the trash. I'd had enough. One morning, I left earlier than usual and watched from my kitchen window as Jake pulled in again. He smirked, stepped out, and strutted off like he owned the place. That smirk, that arrogant, careless look was the last straw. I walked outside, took one long look at that shiny Porsche, and snapped a photo. Then another. I wasn't going to do anything rash, not yet. I called the tow company only to find out that Sharon had already blacklisted my unit. She'd told them I was a problem tenant and that no cars could be towed from my assigned spot without her approval. That was the moment I realized the HOA wasn't on my side. Sharon was the HOA. So, I changed tactics. The next day, I called the city's code enforcement office. I explained that a non-resident was parking regularly in a private, assigned space, violating HOA and city rules. They told me they'd send someone to review the situation. But when they arrived, Sharon met them outside, smiling sweetly and pretending everything was fine. I watched from my window, helpless. She waved her arms, laughed, and then pointed toward my unit, painting me as the troublemaker. The officer left without even knocking on my door. That night, I sat in my kitchen, staring at the photo of the Porsche on my phone, heart pounding with frustration. 20 years serving my country, following orders, doing the right thing, and here I was, being bullied in my own driveway. That's when I made my plan. The next morning, I woke before dawn. I'd spent the night in my garage, gathering tools, checking the camera on my phone, making sure everything was legal or close enough. I wasn't about to destroy property. No. But I was going to make a statement. When Jake parked in my spot again, I waited until he left. Then I got to work. I laid down a thick line of industrial grease on the ground in front of the spot. Just a little something from my workshop used to lubricate heavy machinery. I also rigged a motion sensor camera and recorded everything. When Jake returned that afternoon, he jumped into his Porsche, revved the engine, and hit reverse, but the car didn't move. His tires spun wildly, smoke billowed, and before he knew it, his expensive ride lurched sideways into the curb. The front bumper cracked, the paint scraped, and that beautiful status symbol looked like it had just lost a fight with a wall. I stepped outside calmly. "Seems like you're having some trouble," I said. "Want me to call a tow truck?" The look on his face was priceless, pure shock and rage. Before he could speak, Sharon came storming out, shouting about vandalism and lawsuits. But then I showed her the footage. Crystal clear. Her son parked illegally. Again. Then spun out on his own. No damage done by me, all his fault. She went silent. For once, she had nothing to say. A few days later, the HOA held an emergency meeting. Apparently, word had spread everyone was sick of Sharon's power games. Neighbors stood up, shared their stories, their frustrations, their own run-ins with her and Jake. And that day, something rare happened. Justice. The board voted to remove Sharon as president. Jake was fined for multiple violations, and their family was officially warned about harassment. 2 weeks later, Jake's Porsche was gone permanently. And my spot empty, peaceful, and mine again. But here's the thing, it wasn't about revenge. It was about standing up for yourself when you've been pushed too far. Sometimes, people mistake kindness for weakness. They think if you don't shout, you won't fight back. But strength doesn't always mean confrontation, it means knowing when to act, how to act, and doing it with dignity. That day, I didn't just win back a parking spot. I earned back my peace.